everyone, welcome back to the channel, The College Process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over the step-by-step guide for the Master Promissory Note and the entrance interview paperwork. Obviously, the two forms necessary if you guys are taking out the federal direct loans of the $5,500. Now, that being said, before we start, you're going to need at least two things with you before we even start the process. Right at the bat, you need a student's Fafsa ID. The ID is used, the FSA ID is used to log into the forms to be able to complete them. So you need the student's FSA ID. Second, you're going to need at least two references, because on these forms, you're going to ask for at least two references. Of the two references, the first reference can be and should be, by the way, a parent. And the second reference, however, though, cannot be anyone in the household in the same address. So it can be an uncle, aunt, relative, whoever it may be, friend. It just can't be someone living at the same address. And with that being said, if you guys have that information, we can start the video here. With those two things in hand, you guys need to go to this website right here. I have the link down below, studentaid.gov. On this website right here is where we start the process of filling out the Master Promissory Note and the entrance interview. That being said, while we're on this page here, you can do a couple of things to log in. You can either log in first by going over here where it says apply by using the FAFSA here, apply now, or you guys can log in over here, log in up here at the top. Or what I typically like to do is just go right to the form because it skips other pages that I have to skip through. The fastest way of going is you do this right here. We go over where it says loans and grants. You go down here where it says Master Promissory Note. We'll click on this. This will start the process. Now, once we're on the page here of the Master Promissory Note, we want to go down here to log in to start. We want to go with the I'm an undergrad student. These two here do not apply to you. The third one is for parent plus loans. You're getting a plus loan as a parent. And the second one is the students are grad students. This is totally different forms. You do not fill these two out. We go right here to log in. And obviously here, when we get on the page, you use the student's FAFSA login. So we put the username, the cell phone, or the email. Either one of those three can be used to log in, and then the student's password. So I'm going to log in here. Go to the next page. You guys will need to log in as well. Remember, student login, not the parent login here. And now that we put the login in, they're going to obviously give us here the information indicating this has to be the student logging in. This is a federal site. You'll just click on accept. Okay. And then on the next page here, you guys are going to see your contact information here. You're going to see your cell phone number, your email, and your address. Just double check to make sure this information is correct. If you moved or changed your email, just click up here to edit, to change it, and then change it and come back. But if everything here is correct, email, cell phone number, etc., address, just go to the bottom here and click on I agree, and we're going to move on to the next page. Now, on the next page here, it automatically should indicate it's very verified, your cell phone number and email address, so those things are out of the way. Just click on the continue button to get to the next page. And now the next step here is going to show you different ways of verification. If you guys want, just double check once again, that's the right cell phone number for the student, the right email for the student. Other than that, it should automatically indicate verified down here. If it does, then you guys are fine. We just need to click on the continue button. Then here, it's going to show us the backup code just in case we forget or can't access our cell phone number or email. So once again, for this backup code right here, make sure to write it down. It is important just in case, let's say you can't get a hold of a student and you need to get into the form. This verification code down here will allow you into the form. And just in case, for whatever reason, you can't access student's cell phone number or you can't access student's email, this is an important code to have. If you have that, obviously write it down. Once you do, just click on I have stored, and then we're going to click on finish. On the next page here, what you guys will see is the student's dashboard. On the student dashboard, what you guys will do is you're going to go down here to where it says Master Promissory Note. We'll click on the Master Promissory Note, and the next page here allows, we'll go down here once again to the top box. We'll click on the start box to start. Now what you'll notice on the next page is it's already going to have some of your basic information in there as far as the address, the cell phone number, the email, so on and so forth for the student. As long as these things are correct, obviously, then just basically go to the bottom. And at the bottom of the page here, obviously, if your address is correct, we'll click on this is my current address, as well as this is your mailing address, as most of you it is. We'll click on the no here, indicating there's no alternative address for mailing. And obviously here, you may be wondering, do we have to do the driver's license? The reality is the driver's license question is not that important. So most of the time I just skip it to go, and then we'll click on the continue button to go on to the next page. And now on the next page, it's going to ask us, where do we want the Master Promissory Note to go to? So here, what you'll do is you'll start clicking in the state where you want the form to go to. So let's just say we want to send this form to Penn State. So what we'll do is we'll start typing in Pennsylvania, and what you'll see is it'll start popping up below us. You want to click down here where it says the name of the state, because of the fact that this automatically generates in the system, they're looking at Pennsylvania school. We'll start typing in Penn State next, and then what you're going to notice is, as I start typing in Penn State, once again, same situation. So we'll click on this going to Penn State University. Once we click on it, obviously the box on the right here pops up indicating this is a school that's going to receive your Master Promissory Note. Double check it's the right school, because some schools have different addresses as far as different campuses. That being said, we'll click on the continue button, go on to the next page. And here on the next page, this is where I talked about having the two references. Now they're going to ask you to add two references in. Now, when you click on the box at the bottom here to add two references, let me show you what happens. I'll click on the bottom box here. When I click on add a reference, it's going to ask for the name, the address, cell phone number, email, and the relationship to this individual. So obviously the first person you'll do is what I talked about before, is father or mother. Essentially father or mother, because you want to have those people being the first reference. That's what they're looking for. For the second reference, it could be anyone you want. So you can choose a grandfather, a friend, a neighbor, etc. So I'll wait for you guys here. If you want to pause the video now, add in your references here. Go to the bottom after you add the reference in and click on add. So then you'll add a reference in. Once you add the reference in, this is what it looks like. You'll see right here, you'll see the two references. Once you've added the two references in, you want to click on these two boxes here. It's going to show these are the two references you're going to be utilizing. You can have more references, but you really don't need that if you want to. It's just the two they need. And you always want to go with at least a parent as the first reference and a friend, relative, anyone else for the second reference. By the way, these people are not contacted, if you're wondering. They just use this as a reference just in case you don't pay your loan back. Typically, they give you like a 6-month grace period of non-payment, by the way, before they even start contacting anyone. So don't worry about these people being contacted about anything financial. Not going to happen. So once you've added those two people in, you click on the two boxes indicating these are my two references. You want to go to the bottom of the page. And at the bottom of the page here, we're going to click on the continue button to go on to the next page. Now on the next page, which is the agreements here on section 3, we're halfway through. At this point in time, you're pretty much done other than reading. The next 5 sections here, as you can see here, 1 of 5 sections, are all explaining to you what the Master Promissory Note is, what the student loan is, your repayments, your situation if you don't find yourself able to repay these loans, what you can do, deferments, forbearance, what your interest rates will be, what your repayment programs will be. All this information will be covered in the next 5 pages. I've already read this thing multiple times, but I would suggest reading through these different sections to get more familiarized with how these loans work. But I'm going to just go through each one of these sections kind of quickly here, because obviously you guys can read these on your own time. So we'll go to the bottom of each one of these sections here. Once again, these are all explaining terms. Once again, these are all explaining terms and different things you should know about. We'll go to the bottom of this page here. And now we only got 2 more pages to go. Look at the bottom of that. And we're down to the last page here. I'll go all the way to the bottom here and click on continue. But once again, you should read through these sections because they're very important to understand how these loans work and what you're getting yourself involved in, both student and parent, by the way. And now we've gotten to the final section. And the final section is just a review of everything. So basically, we're in the review and edit section. If you want to change anything, your address, your phone number, your email, so on and so forth. But if everything's correct, just go all the way to the bottom. And at the bottom down here, all you have to do is just click, after you reviewed this, click on the continue button. The last step, this is the submission page. This is where we get to submit the actual form in. If you want to submit the form now and you want a copy of it, you can click here to preview a draft of the MPN that gives you a PDF copy if you want it. You don't need to because it's saved here in the system, but if you want a copy for yourselves, go ahead, click on the preview, draft, and then print out or save a copy onto your desktop. It is in PDF format. Other than that, what you want to do is go to the bottom here, click on this box here indicating I've read all the terms, I understand everything happening, and I understand I'm going through, I'm taking out a loan. This will be paid back at some point in time, essentially. Terms, interest rates, etc., payment structure, I understand all of it. Click on this box and then sign as the student. You sign the student's first name and last name, middle initial is not necessary, by the way. Once you've done that, click on the submit button. This form is in and you guys are all done. This, by the way, is what the confirmation page looks like. So essentially it says here, you have successfully submitted your MPN. It takes about 24 hours for the school to get it. That's perfectly fine. Next thing you need to do is you need to fill out the entrance counseling paperwork. And what you'll notice is if you go a little bit further down, right here, it's indicating the link for the entrance counseling. So what we'll do is, since it's the next step for us to get the federal loans in place, click on that. And what you notice is here, this step here, since we're already logged in, is going to take us right to the form. So we want to click on this one right here, the start button for the I'm an undergrad. This one down here is for professional students, i.e. grad students. If you're an undergrad, you don't do this one, something different. You click on the top one. So click on the top one to start. And the next section here is indicating to us that we want you to basically start off by answering a couple questions. Then you're going to be taking a quiz. The quiz is fairly simple, to be honest with you. It's going to give you the answers, things to read before you take the quiz, take the specific section, the module. But first, it's going to ask you for some questions first. But think about it from this perspective. Both these things are going to take you about 20 minutes together to do all of it. So let's start on the next section here. Once we click on the continue button, the next thing it's going to ask us is we want to make sure this is going to the school you chose before. As you can see here, it chose Penn State because I chose Penn State for the MPN. So it assumes this is where it's going. So we're going to click on the add button to add Penn State here, indicating yes, Penn State is the correct college here. Now, once we click on the continue button, next thing is going to start off, it's going to start the module. So we're going to start from the top. There's a bunch of different modules here. We'll start with the first one, estimated cost. On this module here, it wants you to read through all these different terms, what cost of attendance is, direct costs, indirect costs, so on and so forth. You should be reading through these different things. If you want to pause the video and read through all of them, it is beneficial for you. I will go a little bit quicker though, because I don't need to read these. I've already read this, but it is beneficial for you guys to read all these different sections. We'll click on the continue button. And on the next section here, it's asking us, what type of tuition are we in-state, out-of-state, and showing us what the college cost will be for us. So Penn State University will indicate we're out-of-state student, and then we'll click on the arrangements for living. We'll click on living on campus, and then the completion of the 4 years. Typically, we click 4 years because of the fact it's a 4-year college, 4-year degree at Penn State most of the time. And then we'll click on view data. This down here is going to indicate to us what the cost of attendance is. It doesn't mean that's what's costing you. It's just what the form indicates what the cost of the school is for all 4 years, their assumption on total cost of the university, not specifically what you're paying. And then what we'll do, we'll go to the bottom, press the continue button. Now what you guys will be doing is reading these different aspects of what's going on to help explain to yourself, to help know when they ask you the questions in a few minutes, how to answer them. Click on the continue button. Once again, more terms for you guys to go through. Once again, I click on the continue button. You should be reading these. And then once again, another section here talking about different types of loans. Click on the continue button once again. And now it's going to take us into more sections of reading. Now these sections here, all 6 of these sections here should be read by you guys as well to get you guys ready for the test, the quiz that's going to happen at the end of this module. I'm going to go through all the way to the end. You guys should be reading these though to help inform yourselves. That being said, just going to keep going through all of these here. This is showing you the different current rates for the student loans out there, what the differences are between sub and unsub, because most of you guys would have got both sub and unsub loans for the federal loans, especially for the first year, the 5,500. And here are the different levels of loans and how much you're able to take out based on your grade level. There are more loans available to you as your student progresses through college. And once again, I'm just going to go through these sections fairly quickly because of the fact that I already understand the questions, I already understand what they're going to be asking, and I've already read through these sections a bunch of times. That being said, we've gotten here to the last section here, so I'll press on continue. And as you can see here, it's going to start the quiz phase of this whole process. So we'll click on continue. And what you guys want to do, you want to read through the questions. Hopefully you read through the modules so you know the answers. I'm going to go through these and start answering these because I already know the answers, by the way. So the first question here, what document explains your rights and responsibilities as a federal student loan borrower? That's the Master Promissory Note, what you already filled out before. So the answer is correct. We'll press continue. Next question here, which loan type provides interest subsidy, meaning the Department of Education pays for your interest? That's going to be the subsidized. We'll click on that. That's correct. And then we'll go to the next question here. Who should you contact if you have trouble making payments once you've left school? That's the loan servicer, the person taking care of your loan. We'll click on continue. That's correct. Go on to the next. All right, so now we finished that section of the module. Now we're going to go into another module and start reading more questions, more information to answer the next quiz here. Now in this section here, it's going to ask what degree you're going to be getting. Most of you will be getting a degree in, most of you guys are getting a bachelor's degree in a 4-year college. If you're doing this for a 2-year college, then it would be an associate's degree, by the way. But we'll click here on the bachelor's degree. Field of study is optional, so you can click on this and add it if you want. If you don't, it's up to you, it doesn't really matter. Click on view data again. And this is going to indicate how much they expect us to graduate in student loan debt with. Now, this is based on the federal student loans, not private loans or state loans you get. So if you're wondering, it seems pretty low, it's going to be pretty low. Okay? That being said, let's go down to the bottom here. Now, this section here, if you want to fill this out, it's up to you guys. If you want to fill this out and indicate, okay, it's going to be a 4-year program. Once again, it's going to indicate to you guys basically what they expect you guys to borrow or what you'll be paying back, so on and so forth with your balances. But once again, this number for many of you will be pretty low because only assuming looking at the federal side of things. That being said, we're going to keep going down the bottom, press continue, and now we're going to go into more. And now we're going to go into more of the reading aspects, not so much us answering stuff for a couple more sections here. Once again, you want to be reading these 4 sections, everything they have coming to you, so you know how to answer the quiz questions at the end here. I'm going to go through this quickly again because I already know the answers. But that being said, you guys want to read through all these things to understand the situation better. Here they're indicating the differences in loans and interest and how they accumulate, how they're accrued, so on and so forth. Go to the bottom, press continue again. And now once again, we're back to the quiz section for another quiz, by the way. We'll click on continue. And let me read the first question of 3 questions I'm going to ask in this section. Who do you contact if you've already accepted more loans than you need? Well, that would be the financial aid office because that indicates you're still in school. We'll click on continue. That's correct. Move on to the next question. Next question here is, what increases your total loan balance? Interest accruing, capitalization. The answer is both of them. We'll click on the button here, continue, and then once again, we're correct on that. We'll move on to the next question. And the last question here of this section, how can you reduce your total cost? Make interest payments while in school, make interest payments and principal payments while in school, make interest and principal payments while in grace period. The answer is all of those. So we'll go with all of the above. continue. And that answer is correct as well. And we'll move on to the next section. And now we're moving into basically the last section here. Now, the next section here is going to be the same format we've done before. We're going to be doing some reading and then answering some questions. So I'll click continue. And now we're going to have 5 different sections here to read through before we get to the end of this section. I'll go to the bottom here because I've already read all this stuff already. Once again, you guys want to be reading through this. If you guys wanted to estimate your loan amounts and based on your gross income to see how you're going to be faring, whether it's affordable or not affordable, this is a good calculator. I would suggest this for a lot of families out there looking to see if they're taking on large amounts of debt based on the career path of your student. But other than that, I'm going to go to the bottom here, press continue. I'm going to keep going through these different sections here because I've already read all these before, but you should be reading these. And here, once again, we have another good calculator indicating if you're looking at standard repayments for loans, if you're looking at graduate repayments, if you're looking at any of the income contingency programs, as far as the income-driven programs here for doing the repayment programs. These are all good calculators to explain to you guys where you guys fall, specifically for the federal loan situation, okay? So things I would be doing if I were you guys out there, because obviously you're all new to this. Now press continue here. And now we've reached the last section here, the last reading section here for us to do. We'll click on the continue button. Now we're back into another test here. So I'll click on the continue button to start the test. And this one's asking us 4 questions. And these are, by the way, this is the last section of questions. Last questions here are, who do you contact if you have any questions about repayment? And that would be the loan servicer. We'll click on that, continue. That is correct. Next question here is, who do you contact when it's time to enroll in a payment plan, a repayment plan? That would be the loan servicer as well. Click on that and press continue. That is correct. Third to last questions here. What percentage of your gross salary does the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau suggest student loans be to make it affordable? And that answer is no more than 8%. We'll click on that, press continue. And here we're on the last question here. Which repayment plan will you be placed into automatically unless you change it? And that's very simple. The standard repayment, which is a 10-year standard repayment over a monthly basis. Every month you're paying over 10 years. And click on that. Click on continue. That is correct. Now we're going to go through the last section of the entrance counseling here form, which are all things you should be reading. These sections are going to indicate what happens if we go into delinquency, what if we can't pay back the loan. So all these things you should be reading, by the way. These are all talking about what happens if you have problems paying, deferments, hardships, forbearance, all things you can do rather than going into default, basically, which you don't want to do. So all things you can do instead of going into default, it's talking about all these things in these different sections here at the end, which you want to be reading. Once again, I've already read these, so I don't have to read this, but you should. That being said, there are ways of getting your debt basically discharged or canceled, so on and so forth. These go all through them: public service loan forgiveness, to teacher loan forgiveness programs. If you're total or permanent disability, that goes into as well. Obviously, there's death; those loans are forgiven as well. So we'll click continue on the continue button here. And the last possible section here is essentially a summary of everything you've gone through so far. So I'll go to the bottom of each one of these pages and press submit. And obviously that was the last section. You guys are completely done, nothing left to do. As you can see here, we have a confirmation page and you guys are all done with the entire process. If you guys have any additional questions, by the way, and you want any assistance, I do one-on-one meetings with families, assisting them through Zoom. On the screen is my contact information, my cell phone number, text message, by the way, fastest way to reach me, or you can email me if you want to have a one-on-one sit down and need help with stuff. But other than that, thank you guys for watching today's video.